Today I have Saloni alongside me. Saloni, welcome to the Nerdish Mic. So before we get into the actual real meat and potatoes of it, I want you to give a real short, quick introduction about yourself and the Paddling Foundation.
Thank you so much for having here. I'm really excited to be here. And I hope this session is quite insightful for a lot of people who are listening to it. My name is Saloni Bhutra. I have finished my counseling psychology. So I've done my master's in counseling psychology. And I think 3 years back, we had started an NGO called the Paddling Foundation, which aims to break the taboo around periods in India. So we have done a lot of work in this field, where we try to not just raise awareness, but we also try to distribute pads wherever it's required for free. And we do that by a lot of other activities, which we'll talk about in the podcast for sure. And other than that, just like a personal thing, I love playing sports. So I've played like a lot of sports in terms of professional level also. So I played basketball states and volleyball nationals.
Oh.
So yeah, this is it about me.
Okay, I am also a district level volleyball player. That is.
Oh, that's beautiful.
My dad is a national volleyball player. He has represented India and he has done the national youth camp for it. So everyone in my family is quite passionate about volleyball.
So you have taken the genes for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so before I actually ask you about the Paddling Foundation, I want to know that actually I feel like that there are personal instances in a individual's life that makes us do something that could affect the society on a larger level. So personally speaking, what were those instances or moments from your life that made you start the Paddling Foundation on the first place?
Okay, there are many actually.
Okay.
So when I got my periods for the first time, that is when I got to know about periods. And I got it in class 9. And before that, I was clueless. I really didn't know why we're getting periods, why am I bleeding from there. And when I got it, I was told to sleep in a separate room in the house. And when you think about it, my house is considered as one of the most modern families in our hometown. And even by being so modern, inside the house, I was told to sleep in a separate room. I was told to not touch things. I was told to not enter the kitchen, not to talk to people. And that is when I realized a lot of things. Like, I felt like there are, in most of the sections of society, it is women and other transgender communities that are the most vulnerable. And I feel like their health needs, by the large, always remain unaddressed. And because of this, there are gender stereotypes that have been constructed, structured, and even perpetuated. So if you share about your periods with your family, it can damage your good girl image. So menstruation therefore becomes a signal for the society to restrict, control, and even monitor a woman and menstruators and hampering their personal, educational, even professional growth, I feel. And because of this, there's so much lack of awareness, which gives rise to like various myths and misconceptions, which then it keeps on perpetuating, like which leads to isolation of women in a lot of societies. So I feel like because of all this, I felt like there was a critical need for a space between menstruators and their close ones, where they can share their feelings, concerns, experiences, and have like open and frank discussions without being embarrassed and ashamed about being on periods. Because I feel like menstruation is such a natural process. It's just like how you sweat after a workout, you're bleeding. So there's nothing to be ashamed about. So I feel like these are a few things that made me like want answers about it. Like, why are we not allowed to enter the kitchen? Because the only answer I was receiving was इतने ज़माने से आ रहा है, चलता आ रहा है, कुछ तो logic होगा. But there was no answer to it. So this is my reason for starting something like this.
Okay, so what I want to ask is that when all these taboos are actually imposed on a person from the person's perspective, so how does an individual feels at that point of time? Does she feels actually helpless, or means what are the things that a person tries to do in order to come out of all these situations?
Okay, I think it's very subjective. Like everybody has different ways of dealing with this, and there's no wrong or right way, because it depends, like where you're born and brought up. So it depends on that. Like today, I might say that I might be protesting, but tomorrow I cannot question someone else for not protesting, because it comes with a lot of societal factors. You cannot protest everywhere openly. So I feel like for me, I will answer only for myself. Initially, I felt helpless because I felt like I'm a very rebellious person, but in this, it was like there was a lot of unity on the other end, where a lot of people were agreeing to the fact that we should not be touching things. So I felt alone. I felt like, why am I the only one feeling this way? But when you individually go and talk to people on an individual level, one-on-one, you realize everybody is helpless. But when it comes to a group, it becomes like they're united. But individually, people want change. People want to not experience things like these, because on one hand, you're experiencing a lot of pain because of your body changes.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, there are other societal factors that are giving you extra pain.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I personally felt helpless in the start,
Mm-hmm.
but after a few years, I didn't feel helpless anymore. I felt like I need to bring a change, and if not now, I will keep experiencing this throughout. So my only aim was, at least with my, I won't say protest, but with my activism, I wanted at least a few menstruators to feel safe. At least, like, I can't impact the entire country, but I can at least impact a few people, and that's enough.
Okay, beautiful. So I'm assuming that you have worked in the rural areas as well. So, I mean,
Yeah, I mainly work in the rural areas.
okay. So I'm quite curious to know that what were the most weirdest taboos that you have came across while working in the rural areas?
Yeah, I think it's not taboo exactly, but something that you'll also be disturbed hearing it.
Okay.
So there are a few places in India, not all the places,
Mm-hmm.
mainly in Madhya Pradesh, as much as I'm aware. What happens is there are menstrual huts, which are like a small hut, a jhopdi kind of,
Huh?
which is, when I'm saying small, imagine the smallest that you can think is the small I'm like talking about. I'm not talking about something normal small, which has literally no sanitation, no hygiene facilities, no windows, nothing, just a small jhopdi. And menstruators are sent there when they're on the periods, which are away from the houses. So it's like 2-3 kilometers from the houses. Out there, there's no water, nothing, no light, nothing, just a jhopdi.
Yeah.
And it's so isolated from the villages that it's almost near a forest or near a jungle. So now what happens is there are instances where menstruators have died because of a snake bite, or because of too much exposure from the heat, or because of no sanitation. So these are some things that are still existing. This, when I'm saying, I'm not talking about history. I'm saying something that is still existing.
Okay.
And this was something that disturbed me. That, like, it just didn't bother me. It disturbed me personally. Like, I felt like these house should be abolished. And the second thing that disturbed me in the rural areas was, there's a district in Maharashtra called Beed district,
Oh.
where it's called wombless district of India. Wombless. So wombless. Okay.
Okay.
Now the reason it's called wombless is because there are sugarcane factories out there that are existing, and a lot of a lot of women are working in the factories. And what happens is, the women in these factories are told that they will not get period leaves. So if they even take one leave on the period, they will not get paid. And not all of us are working on salary basis. A lot of us are working daily wage, right? Like, we are privileged that we don't have to go through like daily wages, but there are people who get money on a daily basis, and it's very important for them. So for them to take a leave is difficult.
Yeah.
So what they do is, they have to go to the gynaec and get their womb removed, so that they don't menstruate only.
Oh.
But that is very unhygienic. Like,
Okay.
not just unhygienic, it's very disturbing for your
Painful?
body. It's not okay to remove your womb. Painful, definitely, but painful is the least concern out of these. I
Okay.
feel like there are other concerns, like you won't be able to give birth, and giving birth is not okay. It's personal choice. Not everybody wants to give birth, but nobody has to remove a womb just to work
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that a lot of people are protesting, but it's still not in the eyes of media. It's not as much as it should be getting importance. So 2-3 things like these, I felt like were very disturbing rural areas, which you don't see in the urban areas. But urban areas has its own set of taboos, like
Yeah.
not touching things, not going to the temple. So I won't say one is better than the other, but both need to be like simultaneously being like tapped on.
Absolutely. So, I mean, like, to ask you that, what are the common concerns that women or girls actually talk about when you actually go on a survey or find out that what are their
Yeah.
actual problems on the first place?
Yeah, okay. So what happens is, a lot of people do not know when is the right time to check with a gynecologist. So
Okay.
what happens is, first of all, gynecologist is expensive also in India.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is not the fault of the gynecologist being expensive. It's because of the unwealthy, like
Yeah.
unequal distribution of wealth. So what
Absolutely.
happens is, when I go to rural areas, I try to ask them, like, are you menstruating? And some of them tell me that since 6-7 months they're not getting their periods. So I've asked them, have you ever checked with the doctor? So their first concern is, we don't know if it's normal to not get periods for long. Second thing, we cannot afford it, and both are very valid reasons.
Okay.
Because unless I come and tell you, not I, like, unless people come and tell you that this is the right time to check with the gynaec, how does one know when to check with the gynaec? Secondly, unless they have someone who earns 100 rupees per day, will definitely value food over other things.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you cannot expect them to check with a gynecologist. Like, it's unfair to ask something, even if it's important for them to do it. So I had set up like a free gynaec camp in a few areas, where we gave free gynaec services to 150 menstruators there. So what happens is, this was one concern, like gynecologists being expensive and they're not being able to check. Second, how do they know what is normal bleeding, what is heavy bleeding? Because there's no awareness on it. So that's why I'm trying my best to like to talk to people about what is normal bleeding, what is heavy bleeding, when, what kind of pain is normal. Period pain is normal, but not extreme pain.
Yeah.
And there are so many disorders, there are like endometriosis, PCOS, and there are a lot of disorders like these which need to be like spoken to the gynec about. But because there's no awareness, people feel like it's normal to not get periods for 3 months. But a lot of times when you don't get periods for 3 months, it's because you might have an issue that can be the PCOS or a hormonal disorder or endometriosis. So these are a few things. And lastly, I would say they find period products very expensive, which I will not even talk about rural, even urban people, like even people like us who are privileged find it expensive. Imagine like having to pay 70 rupees per packet. So which means like you're paying around 300 rupees per month for your sanitation, right? And 300 for some could be a big thing. Like, like 300 for a few people could be a big thing. So how period products are expensive and how they cannot shift to alternate products which are existing, which are like if you buy a menstrual cup, it's for 400 rupees, you'll just go for 4 years. But for someone who earns in a month 2000, even spending 400 together is a big thing.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
again, that's an issue which they are experiencing. So these are some of the concerns I've experienced personally when I've spoken to them.
Okay, so now asking you on a broader perspective, so how has Paddling Foundation actually been working with those women or girls specifically?
Yeah, okay. So we have done a lot of like different things. Okay, so we are like trying to do our own thing in a different way. So first is we are trying to set up vending machines for free. So we are setting up pad vending machines where we are choosing localities where a lot of underprivileged women could take that.
Oh.
Okay, so but we are trying to put it in a well-known schools. Why we're doing that is so that it'll be regulated well, so that nobody can steal it, nobody can misuse it. So what we have done is we have set it up in schools where we have told people that you're allowed, like people will be allowed to come in your school and take it from here when they want it, but you have to make sure that the maintenance is by you, done by you. So first is setting up vending machines. Second is people do not understand the value of social media. Social media is a powerful tool where you can reach
Powerful,
out to
extremely powerful.
millions of people. Yeah, with your words.
Yeah.
So we had started with like 100 followers, I think, and then right now we are at 18,000 followers. So with this, we have given, like, it's very difficult to get so many people to follow a period page. But something we never talked about before, and now 18,000 people are supporting you. It's a big thing. Like,
Yeah.
so we use social media in a very effective ways where you try to reach out to people by telling them how it's normal to have periods, it's normal to do these things in periods, and we also give them space to vent, rant, or talk about their issues where they feel like okay, they're being heard and we are there for them. In some cases we can't help because some cases you need to check with the gynec, but at least the fact that you can be heard by someone, you feel empowered by that itself. So social media is the second thing. Third is by distribution. So in the end, distribution is the biggest thing. Like, you need to, like, if you don't have the resources, there's nothing that you can do about it.
Yeah.
So we try to, initially we started with, we thought we'll impact entire India. But when you start your project, you realize India is not a small country.
Yeah.
In fact, even one state in India is not small.
Yeah.
So it's when we narrowed it down, I realized India is too far fetched as of now. Maharashtra also is too far fetched.
Yeah.
So when you say Maharashtra, people might say, okay, then Mumbai. Mumbai is also a big city.
Big city.
You have to start with a district.
Hmm.
You have to start with a small district, which also has like thousands of people. So we started with a district called Palghar, if you have heard Palghar in Mumbai, Maharashtra.
Yeah.
So we started from Palghar. Okay. So we adopted it. Like, we made sure that we gave it to everyone who needed it there.
Okay.
Once we had enough funds, we started increasing our places. So from Palghar, we went to Dahanu, Kalyan, Borivali. We kept on increasing places like that. And then we started shifting states also. So Mumbai, Maharashtra, we are impacting, but we are also impacting West Bengal. We are also impacting other places nearby.
Yeah.
But even when I'm saying when we are impacting West Bengal and Maharashtra, it's still two big states. So as of now, we are planning to focus only on these two for now, because it's not fair to just tomorrow go and give pad to someone and move on. When you go to like a rural place, it's important that there's a continuous conversation, a dialogue. So you need to talk to them on a regular basis, because tomorrow I can't tell you like periods are normal and then I go and tell someone else periods are normal. If 20 years I've been heard that periods are not normal, suddenly why will I believe you? Why will I believe the fact that periods are normal?
Yeah.
You need to explain it to me. You need to talk to me regularly to explain it to me that, okay, listen, I know you have been told something, but this is the truth. And you have to keep coming to me. Then only I will trust you with the process.
Yeah.
So that is why, as of now, we're focusing on West Bengal and Mumbai. Other than this, I think one big project that we have started is called Chandrapali project.
Oh.
But what we are doing is, a lot of people didn't get period education in the school times. So if they have missed that education, they can come back to us and learn it from us, where we teach women about what is periods, why you're getting your periods, and not just the biology part of it. We teach them the psychology part of it, because periods affect your mental health also a lot.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's like we teach them, we teach them 6 subjects. One, how men can be a part of menstruation. One, biology, sociology, psychology, and everything. So this project, we do it for free. You don't have to pay something. You don't have to pay for registration. But there is one criteria. After your project is done, you have to make sure you have to conduct 3 workshops that have around 100 people in each, and spread it to them. So that way what happens is we are educating 20 people, 20 people will educate 20,000 people
Yeah,
through
absolutely.
workshops. So that way we are trying to impact. So these are like a few things I'm discussing. There are a lot more that we are doing, but just a few things that we are doing as of now.
I think that's a very interesting way to, actually scale the foundation from actually ground level.
Yeah.